Meanwhile, in Turkey, the death toll has crossed 41,000 and it is not expected to slow down anytime soon. Rescue efforts are slow, the people are angry and they're venting out. For those who survived the earthquakes, there's another challenge: surviving the government's crackdown. Dissenters and critics are being put in jail in Turkey. The government of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan should ideally be focused on one front: rescue and relief to quake survivors. But his government has another priority: incarcerating people for what they call provocative social media posts. 78 people have been arrested in Turkey in the past few days. What for? For creating fear and panic by quote-unquote sharing provocative posts about the earthquake and its aftermath. That's what the Turkish police says. What is a provocative post, though? That they've not specified. It is at the discretion of the government and the police. So they arrested 78 people. They've identified another 600. This is courtesy Turkey's General Directorate of Security. It says it has identified 613 people in all, again for making provocative posts on social media. Legal proceedings have been initiated against 293 of these people. If you know about this country's recent history, you will not be surprised by what's happening. Turkey has a distinguished legacy of curbing free speech. Last week, the government blocked Twitter for about 12 hours. Why? Too much disinformation, they said. The ban on Twitter outraged people. Many were using it to locate their loved ones, also to share information about rescue efforts, but the government blocked it anyway. It said there was too much information pollution. That's the term they used, information pollution. So critics are being silenced. Also facing the heat are builders and contractors. They built structures that could not survive earthquakes. So at least 130 people involved in shoddy construction projects have been arrested, which is fine. But what about the enablers? What about the authorities who allowed shoddy construction to take place? It's not like the government was not aware of what was going on. In fact, the government was an active participant. It helped builders to flout construction laws. And now it is looking for fall guys. Builders say they're being scapegoated and that the crackdown only focuses on the smaller players, not the builders with powerful connections. They aren't being touched, not to mention the political leaders who supported them. Erdogan wants to escape blame by showing that he is punishing the culprits. He has set up special departments to investigate. They're called the Earthquake Crimes Investigation Bureaus. What will they do? Collect evidence against builders and check required permits. What about collecting evidence against the politicians who allowed such projects? Again, no word on that. The rot goes right to the top, and I mean the president of Turkey. Old videos have come back to haunt Erdogan. In these videos, he can be seen bragging about allowing builders to take up construction projects without worrying about rules and regulations. In a video from 2019, this is what Erdogan said: "We have solved the problems of 144,000 Kahramanmaraş citizens with the construction amnesty." What is construction amnesty? A fancy term for allowing builders to ignore safety codes. That is construction amnesty. In another video, again from 2019, this is what Erdogan said: "We have solved the problems of 205,000 citizens of Hatay with zoning peace." What is zoning peace? Allowing builders to flout safety regulations. Erdogan has boasted of bending rules in at least 3 regions: Kahramanmaraş, Hatay, and Malatya. Do you know what the scary part is? The earthquakes have caused extensive devastation in the same regions. In the area where the quakes hit, 75,000 buildings were given amnesty by the Erdogan government. 75,000 buildings. This disaster was waiting to happen. It was sponsored by the government. In 2018, the country's urbanization ministry admitted that half the structures in Turkey did not meet safety standards. What did the government do about it? Nothing. Today, more than 41,000 people are dead. Here's how Erdogan's amnesties work. Consider yourself a builder. You construct a building that does not meet safety requirements, but you don't want the building to be demolished. All you have to do is pay a fine to the Turkish government. And the fact that your building is unsafe will not matter after that. There will be no demolition. Your building stays intact until it does, and the government gets to make money from the fines. In 2018, the amnesty scheme resulted in the government earning $2 billion in revenues. Now those buildings have turned to rubble. Erdogan is going after the builders. Anyone who questions his government's role is being put behind bars. He faces an election this year, the toughest of his life, they say. How he acts now may determine his fate.